248-539-9797. We'll take your phone calls, your texts. Don't forget, download the Odyssey app, and you can listen to all of our shows here as well anytime you want. Hit the rewind function, go under the show name of your favorite show, and you can hear stuff from days gone by. So do that. Also, our podcast, John's Necessary Roughness, did one yesterday with TJ Lang.
Mm-hmm.
Evan and myself are doing one today on Restore the Floor, a little pre-draft. We'll play a lot of Rashad Phillips interview that we had on our show. That if you missed that, by the way, it's coming up at 9:35 as well. Rico Beard, the 5-Star Zone, Cash the Ticket, all the great podcasts here, Bustin' Balls, etc. All right. Yesterday, I had to go to Costco, not on a huge run. I just wanted to get my major box of coffee pods for the carry here at the station.
Okay.
And I got a couple of small things. I didn't need gas, so I didn't do that. But I did have my lunch there. I did have my Costco hot dog.
You know what? I was at Costco yesterday as well, not the same one you were at, but I found out something yesterday that apparently my wife said they have all the time and have had for a long time. Ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
It was a nice big ice cream.
Soft serve, yes.
Oh, yes. It was.
Yeah.
It was a great treat.
Yes, absolutely.
Had no idea.
Oh, yeah. They got pizza. They got churros.
I've seen the pizza, the churros, the hot dogs. We've talked about those before, but I didn't know they had ice cream. That was.
Well, it's a great deal. $1.50 hot dog and a soda. A refill, all you want. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go out to return my cart, take the stuff, put it in the car, and return my cart to the corral. And I've tweeted this up on Twitter at Stoney16. There are 3 carts just in mine, and there were others. I didn't want to take a lot of pictures, okay? There were 2 carts on a curb area by a tree, and then there was one at the other end, okay? That were very close to the cart corral, especially the 2 that looked like they were husband and wife carts, basically. They were together, so to speak. And it's just, look, I have been accused, and rightfully so, of being lazy at times. However, in this case, I will always, unless it's a monsoon or something, but even that I've done it in a rainstorm, you return the cart to the corral. Now, I know there's extenuating circumstances if you have little kids sometimes, but come on, how lazy and selfish can you be to not return your cart to the corral on a glorious, beautiful day? I don't understand it. We've gone through this before.
Did you go and take the carts and put them back in the corral, or just take a photo and then drive away?
Oh, I just
you could have.
I could have done more. Yes, I could.
If they were so close to the corral.
I took one. There was another one that was right near my car, so I put that together.
Did.
I took one extra one. Yes.
Then he might get somebody to ask him, "Do you work here?"
Yeah. Well, then here's the other issue. I wish I would have seen somebody do it, because I think I might have actually said something.
This seems very petty.
Okay.
This seems very petty.
Petty?
I don't know.
Petty,
Yes.
I ask you, why wouldn't you, just asking, why wouldn't you return the cart to the corral?
Well, like you mentioned, there are sometimes extenuating circumstances,
Right,
like having 4 kids,
well, if I saw them,
and not wanting to leave them in a hot car. It might be a glorious day, but the car is smoking hot.
Yeah, Stoney, maybe they left the carts there because there was extenuating circumstances.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I still think it's rude. And let me ask you this. Percentage-wise, there's no way of proving this.
Yeah.
The people that leave their carts without going to the corral, how many of them do you think have extenuating circumstances that are legitimate? Like, I think some of them are legitimate.
Okay.
But I think that's probably about 20%.
You could have had a legitimate case right there.
Okay, you might have.
Not all the time, though.
Come
Let's
on.
get
I'm
to
not
the
saying
crux.
it's all the time.
I'd say maybe 20%.
The crux of the matter here is that this has been going on since grocery stores existed.
And it's never going to stop.
And it's never going to stop. And I'm
Even
just like
if you
how
go
you've
up
gotten
to
your
somebody and say, "Are you really going to leave that there?"
I
How
told you guys
dare
how I
you.
was shamed once, didn't I?
Yes.
My cart story, it was pouring rain, okay? And I just didn't want to take the darn cart to the corral, so I left it right, in the corner of your car where the 4 spots meet, and I jumped in my car so I wasn't getting soaked. The woman sitting in the car across from my car eyed me down, got out of her car in the pouring rain, took my cart and put it in the corral, and mean mugged me the entire time.
She said, well, thank you very much for taking my cart.
Now, I would obviously.
You are number one.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe it.
Now, if there was somebody who looked as big and tough as John Jansen, I probably wouldn't say anything. But if it was just, an
So lots of
average
questions
person-
asked the listeners here. Should
Yes.
Stoney say something to somebody next time he sees this?
No.
And I want somebody to call in who's lazy and admits it and tell Stoney why they don't do it.
Right.
Because they don't have circumstances. Because those people exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you
wouldn't
feel like you don't have to put the cart back? I just want to hear the reasoning. We're not
Well,
gonna shout you down. Stoney's not gonna yell at
No.
you.
They pay
Stoney will.
they pay people to do that. Why should I return my cart?
Well, that might be a reason.
I guess.
Yeah.
Eric and Fenton, you're
You take your
97 on the
dishes
ticket.
back to the kitchen.
What'd you say?
Hey, Stoney. Hey, Jansen.
Yeah.
I
How's
love
it
you
going?
guys.
Good.
Hey, there's this guy that's been doing this. His name is the Cart Narc. I think he's out of California or Florida.
Figures.
He goes around
California.
throwing magnets and chastising people for not putting their carts back. You got to look it up, Stoney. I agree with you 100%. There's no excuse for it at all. People are lazy.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. I love the
Cart
fact the guy
narc.
says California and Florida, and John assumes it's not the Florida guy, it's just the California.
Okay, California was the first one he said. So
I know,
I'm
he said
just-
California, Florida,
Yeah.
so of
All right,
course,
Yeah, so
yes.
Florida man.
Yes, exactly. Yes. 248-539-9797.
I would love to take a video of you going up to somebody and asking them, "Why aren't you taking your cart back?"
And then someone pushes back and says, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Very sheepishly backs off. Here's why. By the way, here's a reason why you can leave it like that. Because now when you park in that spot, hey, there's a cart right
There's
there.
a cart right there. There are times where, and I'm not saying I'm saying it's okay to leave your cart, but if I'm parking, I'll either try and park right next to the cart corral so that I could grab one of those carts and go in, or if there is one that is stuck in between spaces, or maybe it's by an island like this, I'll park next to the island so that I can grab that cart.
Okay.
I've done all
Good
the
for you.
above. I
Me too.
do say that, and I don't really care about this, but the downside of parking next to the cart corral is your car is much more likely to get bumped, scratched, all the above.
By other
By
cars.
somebody putting a cart back and, they're looking
Yeah.
at their phone and the cart goes sideways.
Right,
or
people have
Or they're
fun, like
leaning
pushing.
on it.
Look at that.
or-
Call-
They're leaning on it. Do you do the cart lane, you guys?
The cart lean?
Where people get down like on it, like they rest their arms across it?
John's too tall to do that. You'd be like slumped
Yeah, it'd be
all
slumped
the way
over.
over.
No,
Yeah.
I will hop on the back side of it, and if there's an incline, I'll ride it down.
I like if the cart corral is pretty empty, I'll take the cart and just
Oh,
Ram it?
let
you launch
not
it.
ram it, just
Oh.
launch
Yeah,
it.
I do
Exactly.
that
have,
too.
have a good,
Yeah,
it's-
that's rude.
I like to call that shopping cart curling. When I just
Rude.
kind of like
Shopping
let
cart
it go.
curling,
I
yes.
just kind of like let it go.
It's just, yeah. Go ahead and dent the
Ghost in.
cart. Yeah, those are
not gonna-
free.
It's not going to dent the cart. Brandon and Pinckney, you're a 97 won the ticket.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good morning.
Nothing peeves me more when I'm pulling into a Walmart, Kroger, whatnot, and there's a space open up at the front, but there's cars parked around it, and you go to pull up, and there's a cart in the spot, and nothing makes me more angry than that. And I thought it was a social norm that we all just put our carts away.
Yeah, you would think. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank-
John, I mean, you've got a problem with the people not busting down boxes. This is what Stoney's little problem
Okay,
is.
that's fine. Yeah,
I'd love to hear Cindy, though. Like, you guys are going shopping together and you get in the car and you observe somebody doing it and you're just going on your little rant.
Oh, I would love to be there when that happened.
248
Just please let me go
539
shopping with Stoney.
97.
We are brought to you by the good people at Northville Lumber. Tigers 6, Royals 4 was your final score. How they got there was not easy. Offense trailed 4-1. Then came this 7th inning. A 2-run single by Jake Rogers, followed up with 2 on and 2 out. How about a 3-run dinger off the bat of Kerry Carpenter, his 6th homer of the season, 2nd in as many games. That works. 31-40, that's the Tigers' record. Minnesota losing to Boston 9-3. That means Tigers close within 4 games of the division lead. They get Kansas City once again tonight at Comerica Park. First pitch, 6:40 right here on 97 on the ticket. Michael Lorenzen on the mound for Detroit, 2-4 with a 4.23 earned run average. Daniel Lynch with an 0-3 record and 5.79 ERA. Casey's got his son pitchers with a win. Minnesota losing to Boston, as we mentioned, 9-3. Michigan football landing 3-star edge rusher Devin Baxter from Maryland. He is part of the much-improved 2024 recruiting class. NBA draft Thursday night. Pistons still with that number 5 overall pick. Draymond Green opts out of his contract with Golden State. Now the new GM says, we want him back. He's a free agent. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Two 248-539-9797. Somebody sent something on Twitter. I can't wait to look at it. It's 39 minutes of Karens versus cart narcs.
39 minutes.
That's what it says.
Wow.
39 minutes, yes. Somebody says, I noticed there's no cart corral anywhere in the picture. Care to revisit with a photo of the nearest, if you can see or find it? Costco has the fewest return corrals. They'd rather have their staff go get them and keep the parking spaces. Well, that just happened to be at Costco, but I've seen it
You see it everywhere. You do. But Costco does. They have very limited cart corrals.
Yeah.
We do have some ticket text on the Scott Harris little press availability. So he won the press conference? Who cares? His team blows. He brought nothing useful to this team in offseason aside from one decent outfielder. Green went down and he brought in a career 220 hitter. I don't care what his press conference sounded like. He ain't done nothing yet. Of course.
All right. So Green goes down, and who are you going to go get?
Yeah.
There's not a 350 hitter or a 300 hitter that's just sitting on a shelf waiting to be called to play.
And there's 2 guys who actually, Maton has been not very good. Obviously, we talked about him. But Vierling's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And McKinstry's been pretty good.
And
pretty good. Nothing great.
We all knew it was going to take some time for him to. I mean, you're talking about revamping this entire franchise from the farm system up, and it's going to take a little bit of time. None of us want it to take any time.
No, but it does. It's been years of neglect. AJ has explained it to you multiple times. He bats Maton up in the order because he's a lefty and he likes to have a lefty-righty combos in the first 5 to 6 hitters to force pitching changes that don't give much advantage later in the game. He values the strategy over the better hitter.
It's part of it, yeah.
The team is dog crap. Of course they aren't trying to win. Just give young players time, nothing to lose. And Nick Maton should be, quote, working through things in AAA. I don't disagree with that. That's why I thought it was interesting what he had to say about it.
Yeah. I would argue the Tigers are not the A's and Royals because they have McKinstry and Vierling.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I know that's a simplistic way to look at it, but that's what Scott Harris is trying to do to this team is getting guys at the plate who are way more efficient.
That's not why they're not the A's. They're not the A's because they have been able to get some decent pitching. When you look at, Oakland has allowed runs against as obviously where they're really struggling. They've allowed 465 runs against. Right. But the Tigers have just surpassed them. But up until about a week ago, they had not scored as many runs as Oakland. The reason that they're not as bad as Oakland is because of the pitching that they're getting.
Right. I didn't mean it. I mean they're trying to compete. Oakland didn't go get the pitchers that are like McKinstry and Vierling.
Correct.
They're more like the last year Tigers or whatever, or even worse than that. It's kind of like what Yzerman did to a degree. And again, these are broad comments. But Yzerman went and got Lalone some players that can play in this league, okay? You can argue in hindsight that maybe that wasn't the wise thing to do and they should have tanked.
Yes.
It's a double-edged sword with that kind of stuff. You don't want to put Lalone in a position. Same thing with AJ. I mean, AJ was dealt crap here the last couple of years. He's already had to deal with the Miggy thing and has done it, I think, very well.
Yeah.
That's a tough card to be dealt for 3 years.
248-539-9797. By the way, a couple things just to mention quickly in baseball. How about the Cincinnati Reds? Out of nowhere, they won 9 in a row. Yeah. They lead the division. And South Florida, it's unbelievable. Now, granted, the Heat and the Florida Panthers, they lost in the finals, but then they get messy, okay, for their soccer team, and they have, Luis Arnaz, he's batting over 400. Well, how did I pronounce? I screwed up the pronunciation of that.
So
one.
Reyes, isn't it?
Yes, Arias.
Arnaz.
Arias. He had 5 hits again last night. Unbelievable.
Second time he went 5 for 5 in 3 games.
I think
isn't
it's the third. Yes, I think it's the third time he's done it this year. He's got 5 hits. So they got those Marlins are pretty good.
Yes.
All right, we do have some ticket texts on the cart deal as well. Stoney, just leave it alone before you find yourself in one of those carts. People are super sensitive and angry sometimes. I always park either next to the cart corral or as close as possible so I can just put my cart back in. I usually also pull from the cart corral.
Yeah.
It's just being lazy. At Aldi, they take their cart all the way back. Okay. I take extra carts all the time in the hopes of someone seeing it to do the same. I will also pick up trash walking through the parking lot and throw it out properly, and I hope someone sees that too. Lazy people suck.
Hey, that Aldi comment, they're the ones that do the 25-cent thing.
I think so,
Yes.
right?
You're right. You put the quarter in, you get the cart, you get your quarter back if you take the cart back.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've paid for the right to leave it wherever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quarter well spent.
So you leave your cart wherever you want.
No, I don't. But if you're going to do that, you're leaving yourself open for carts to be left all over the place.
So John is lazy, not in taking the carts back, but by going to get a cart. He has to park right next to the cart corral. LOL.
I do that too. When you have kids, man, it's so much easier because you can't leave them in the car and then walk a far way to go put your
We're
cart
gonna
back.
judge on our parking spots. Here's one thing I do love about the Costco parking lot. They may not have enough cart corrals, but their parking spots are the widest of any grocery store or shop that you're going to go to.
Right. Even a bad parker like myself actually gets it between the lines.
I actually want Stoney, you should go to like Costco and like just do some video and we'll edit the best of and just play like your natural reaction in the moment comments.
Yeah. Or let me
and it needs to happen a few months down the road.
Stand behind a car and watch you in the parking lot, just, be the cart police.
Because you've let your frustration out today on the air, so this needs a couple more months
of breathe a little bit.
Down.
Yeah.
I've said things to people that park in handicap spots without tags. They walk in faster than I am.
That's a different story altogether, I think.
Yeah, that is you can't do that.
What about going to the bathroom in the? It doesn't say handicap bathroom. No.
I thought that's where it was going to.
In the huge stalls that play, because they have the rails for handicaps.
Well, they have the rails, but they're also higher.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
but they're not labeled handicap like with a sticker, even though that's.
I think if there's nobody around you who needs that stall,
I do it all the time.
I got to tell you about the parking.
The bigger stall, the better.
Yeah.
The parking right now at grocery stores, the thing that annoys me is hey, I'm getting curbside. So now we're making customers who actually come and shop park even farther away.
It's the worst at Target. There's so many. I'm like,
how
many people are picking up curbside orders right now? They're always empty. And then you have to park a mile from the door while those spots are just sitting there.
As a former store manager for a grocery store, there is no excuse for leaving your cart. The company has had to pay a lot of insurance money to people for carts that run into vehicles. When you don't take your cart back, you're telling everyone else in the parking lot that your time is more important than theirs. Roger from Mount Clemens says, I was in a Kmart parking lot on a very windy day. There was a cart being blown by the wind heading towards a car with a lady blowing her horn at it as if it was going to stop. Oh, my Lord.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's that's another reason why, if you can, you should put your cart back in the cart corral, because they've got the bump so it doesn't obviously blow out, hopefully, unless it's a, gigantic windstorm. Then, at that point, there's probably bigger issues at play.
Yes.
Or it's got the side rails, so you don't have to worry about it banging into another car.
Right. Like I said, if there's extenuating circumstances, like it's a thunderstorm, I get it. I understand that. You have 4 or 5 kids and it's 90 degrees out. I completely understand that. But I think the majority of the people who the carts remain where they shouldn't be, in my opinion, are just lazy and selfish for the majority. 248-539-9797.
Not going to argue that.
Yes. All right, John. We are now, the training camp starts for the Detroit Lions in a little over a month. July 24th, I believe, or 23rd.
I know.
First day.
Cannot wait. It is, football season is so close. I had a little taste of football last night as the Plymouth Canton Steelers had a little technique work going on at the park. And Teddy got his first, technique work in as a human being on the football field. So that was fun. But when you think about the Detroit Lions and you think about where this team has come in the last couple of years, and we're not talking about major deficiencies anymore, like in regards to the entire defense or the entire running back room, wide receiver room, tight end room, whatever it is, we're not talking about major deficiencies. But I do have a question about a couple of different positions where I think they could address them. And that is the quarterback position. And I'm not going to go full Costa on this and say I hate Jared Goff. That's not where I'm going with this. But it does have to do with the quarterback position and how we're looking at different people who are talking about the wide receiving room and where this receiving room fits in and if there are deficiencies in that. There's some things I think they could do to address both of those positions, but we'll get to that when we come back. 97.1 The Ticket.
248-539-9797. Whatever your choice of summer fun is, the best way to get it started is the brand new Silverado from the great folks at Sarah Whalen Chevrolet. From towing a boat and enjoying life on the lake to going off-road and camping under the stars, Silverado is the perfect pickup for everything you like to do. And because Sarah Whalen is the #1 volume Chevy dealer in the country, they have a huge inventory of brand new Silverados, plus even more arriving daily. Sarah Whalen Chevrolet, 17.5 in Van Dyke and Sterling Heights. I have two vehicles that I got from them. My daughter's Equinox and my Blazer. Love it. Darren Eulig, he's the guy. He's my sales guy. Ben Brown and his staff do a great job. The service department is outstanding as well. So even if you didn't get a car there, you need your car service, check it out. Call 800-WHALEN-1 or go to sarahwhalen.com. Find new roads. 248-539-9797. We're just looking at some of these cart narc videos. These people, I mean, are absurd.
There's crazy on both sides.
Yes. Kind of like the world. Kind of like our country.
Yes, crazy on both sides.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're talking about the Lions there, John.
Yes, and what's not crazy is to think that this could be one of the best seasons that the Lions have had in some time, but with some caveat that the risk that they're taking in regards to the backup quarterback position. We've talked about that a lot. Yes, Jared Goff, I think, is going to be good for the Lions. I think he can have another good season, much like he did last year. But the question is, what happens if your quarterback gets hurt? We've talked about that a lot this offseason. I still think they are deficient in the backup quarterback position. The one that I think maybe concerns me the most is because they have a really good offensive line. I think Jared Goff is going to be very well protected. He's going to, mitigate some of those risks himself by getting rid of the ball on time, by, sliding when and not taking unnecessary hits. But for the wide receiver position, when you look at where they are ranked amongst other wide receiver groups, it becomes a little bit concerning when you look at their depth chart and you say, okay, when Jameson Williams returns in Week 7, their starting receivers should be Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Marvin Jones III. You have very reliable backups in Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Tom Kennedy. His skill set might not be great, but he is a reliable backup. And then they have Antoine Green, who they drafted late. They still have Gov's boy, Trinity Benson. They've got some options, but no really quality depth at the wide receiver position. Because if Amon-Ra St. Brown were to get hurt, especially if he were to get hurt in the first 6 games, and you only have Marvin Jones Jr., you've got Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Tom Kennedy, it's not a great receiving room for an offense that you're looking at to be explosive and very productive, capitalizing on what they did last year.
They'll have to go overboard on the creativity of the schemes and getting guys open in that case. And that's why, and I agree with you, that they need help in those two areas. They need to get a veteran backup quarterback. I know they love Sudfeld. You can do better than him.
Yes. And
you can do better as in the wide receiver room. And I know Hopkins is the flavor du jour, and I'd have no problem with, signing him to like a 2-year deal, even if it's front-loaded.
Right.
Because you have the cap room. You'd want it to be front-loaded, actually.
Yes, and it could be on paper it could say 3 or 4 years, but it functionally has to be a 1 or a 2-year deal.
Right. People, he gets hurt, he's missed games. He's supposedly a pretty good teammate.
Yeah. And there was, internet rumor about, hey, Stephon Diggs in Buffalo's unhappy. Should teams explore that option? And teams can explore it all they want. And Diggs may want out at some point. I don't think it's reached that level yet, but there is some discontent there in terms of the play calling under first-year, offensive coordinator, and with Josh Allen and his accuracy at the end of the year. Like all of those things we talked about a couple of days ago. But the contract that Stephon Diggs signed is very player-friendly and not very franchise-friendly. They would take a monster hit if they traded him in regards to dead cap space for a couple of years.
I don't think Stephon Diggs is going anywhere.
No, I don't think he is either. But that's so. I mean, in saying that, I'm trying to put those rumors, if they were to start to develop here in Detroit, a little bit to bed, because that's not really a legitimate option. When you think about other receivers that are out there, and especially guys, and they may be a little bit older, like a Julio Jones. Like that could be a guy that you could go out there and add to this room, especially for the first month and a half of the season before Jameson Williams comes back. You need to have another option in the hopefully unlikely event that Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hurt.
I see. You had mentioned when we talked about this earlier, Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry.
I'd be on board with that. See, the problem is that this is a chess match for all these guys. Is like even somebody like him. Why would he go to the Lions for a 1 year, $3-4 million deal or something when something bigger could be on the table once injuries start happening in camp. Look, he's not a fast player, but he's a slot guy. He's a trustful guy. I've heard he's a good guy in the locker room. I do know that he has some trick play ability. He's thrown a couple touchdowns in this league, and he's left-handed, which Dan Campbell likes that kind of stuff.
Let me ask you this question, all right? If it's last year it was DJ Shark, 1 year, $10 million. Like, and Jarvis Landry, would he be a better player for the Lions than DJ Shark was?
Different. They're completely different
I know. I mean, yeah,
he's younger. Shark's younger too, so I think you had to pay him more. I mean, Jarvis Landry, to me, I have a tough time giving him more than $6 million on a 1 year deal. And we're broadly talking about this. I don't know the market like down for him, but he's a player that I like. That I think he would be a good locker room guy. I think he could come in and understand his role. If Williams comes back and his playing time gets cut, he's a good special teams. You can count him to return kicks. Yep. If Raymond gets hurt, he's not fast, but he's a very versatile player.
And you got to look. You mentioned Raymond. He can do everything, but he's just not great at everything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously going to be your return guy. And you got Josh Reynolds, who has worked well with Jared Goff. Yep. But it's the big question is, if Goff goes down or if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, what is this offense? What will this offense be?
It won't be very good. Here's Heather.
Well, it doesn't sound like this story is going to have a very good ending. The desperate search for that missing submersible that vanished during a mission to see the wreckage of the Titanic continues today. And now there's some more information about those who were on board. So this submarine was part of OceanGate Expeditions. It basically was a company that offers this once-in-a-lifetime experience to go see the wreckage of the Titanic. And it went missing on Sunday after it lost contact with its mothership. And now we do know a little bit about some of the people on board. One of the people on board was this British billionaire, Hamish Harding. He was among the 5 people on board. He was also along with a prominent Pakistani businessman and his son. And then the 2 other people, because there was only 5 people on board, have not been identified yet. And with the amount of oxygen that was left on the vessel, researchers have until maybe Friday to find them and rescue them. And that's it. So time is ticking away, and it sounds like they are doing everything they can, but it's going to be so hard to find this.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
While on land, it looks like a big vehicle. It's basically the size of
a
an
minivan.
SUV.
I saw somewhere. The interior was
trying
like a minivan.
to find that in the middle of the ocean amongst all this other debris,
especially if it's down all the way 13,000 feet where the wreckage is of the Titanic. Yeah. It's so dark down there too, and they don't actually have other ships or whatever you want to call it, vessels that can make it down that far.
Yeah.
Is it bigger than the BBT?
No.
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Huh?
No way.
No.
So, like when you drive on, was it Lake Cadillac when it's frozen over?
Oh yeah, Lake Cadillac, Lake of the Woods.
It would happen to go through.
Got a better chance of finding it there.
Yes. There was a road rage shooting that closed down part of I-94 on Monday afternoon. There was an angry driver that actually left a bullet hole in an off-duty officer's car during a confrontation. So this off-duty officer was headed west on the highway with a passenger when another driver began throwing bottles, throwing other objects at his car. And when both of the vehicles got closer to Gratiot Avenue, the officer said that's when he heard a pop, and he realized that his car had been struck by gunfire. Thankfully, nobody was injured in the shooting, and now Michigan State Police Lieutenant Mike Shaw says that the goal is obviously to find the suspect, get them off their roads, and get the gun out of their hands. A 619-pound blue marlin was disqualified from a fishing tournament in North Carolina over the weekend, all because it had some bite marks on its flesh. And those bite marks cost a group of fishermen $3.5 million in prize money. And these guys, they thought that they had it, right? They reeled in this massive fish. It was the first one this year to surpass 500 pounds, and they thought they were going to be the big winners. took it in, and when the tournament officials were weighing this fish, they said, I'm sorry, this doesn't count because there was a chunk missing out of the side of this fish. And there are official rules that basically say, hey, this fish cannot be, they use the word mutilated before it lands in your boat, and therefore it is disqualified.
Yep.
So the next runner-up won, and their fish weighed 484.5 pounds.
Oh, man.
Still
That
massive.
would be so frustrating.
But still, nothing compares to that 619-pound fish. There's a woman in Ohio that says she has no plans to remove this 10-foot-tall werewolf statue from her yard, despite the fact that she is getting warnings from the city. Her name is Mary Simmons. She says she bought this. It's actually 9.5-foot-tall werewolf. She bought it as a Halloween decoration in October, put it up there, and then said, I'm going to leave it here all year round. And it's turned into one of those, you know how people sometimes have those geese and they dress that goose up with,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
Different outfits.
seasonal outfits.
Yeah,
Well, that's what
weird.
she's doing now. She's named it Phil. It has its own Facebook
Phil.
page. Yes, and she puts different costumes on it and, dresses it for different holidays. And she says most of her neighbors like seeing Phil, right?
Yeah.
But at least one resident sent an anonymous complaint to the city, which has now issued a warning to Simmons. And she says, you know what? I have no plans to take Phil off my property. I'm going to make sure he is safe and sound so nobody can harm him either.
Yeah. A lot of people want to.
I think
Tell you what to
this,
do.
though, would bother me more than people leaving their carts not in a cart corral.
Really?
Oh, Phil would bother you more?
Phil would bother
Yeah.
me more.
Why?
Because it's a Halloween decoration. Take it off your yard. It's like those
Not
inflatables.
if you
But
put
it
an American
changes it.
flag in its
Yeah,
hand. Now
right.
it's a 4th of July
Right,
decoration.
and it does that.
when you
and
put,
it's
when you
done
put
that.
a wreath around its neck, it's now there for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That would bother me more than a cart. It just
What if it's an inflatable?
Oh, I hate those things. I would go just puncture it.
Oh, wow.
And we thought Colin was the one with
Yes.
the anger issues.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Look at those
Destruction of
people over there.
property.
Just wait till Emily asks
It's
for it.
fine
And then,
for
okay, we'll do it.
Halloween or Christmas
Yeah,
or
that's my
whatever
kid.
the season you put the statue up for, but take it down.
Wait for Phil's revenge.
Just
Uh-huh.
don't
Yeah.
leave it. It's like putting Christmas light. Like I don't like the Christmas lights on your house all year round. Take those down, John. I know you have,
I
right?
have,
I
yes,
know.
yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Heather. Coming up next, NBA draft. Who are the Pistons going to pick? Who should they pick? Rashad Phillips joins us next. 97 won the ticket.
All right, guys, you've been hearing me talk about Michigan's #1 hair restoration specialist, Dr. Berkowitz from Michigan Hair Restoration, for quite a while now. And maybe you've been on the fence. You're thinking about going to see him. Well, guess what? Now is the time. It's Michigan Hair Restoration's 10th anniversary, and Dr. B wants to celebrate. So he's doubling the savings for our listeners. For a limited time, you'll save $2,000 when you mention 97.1, and you'll get 0% financing on your hair restoration procedure. So enough with all the ball caps every single day, or being self-conscious when you go swimming, or maybe when you're on that Zoom call for work. Or maybe you're single and you're just ready to start dating again. Dr. B can help you get your confidence back, just like he has helped thousands of guys over the past 10 years. With the most advanced hair restoration techniques available, you can enjoy a thicker, healthier head of hair that looks and feels completely natural. For more information and to schedule a consultation with Dr. B, go to MichiganHairRestoration.com. That's MichiganHairRestoration.com, and let Dr. B help you gain that confidence back.
true or not. No matter he a bad hardy one mercy, yeah, what to do? When I see I flex, I
Hey, I've lost a lot of weight over the past couple years, and one of the main reasons is Planet Fitness. I love the judgment-free zone. When you go to Planet Fitness, not intimidating, and they have the best equipment. The place is clean. I'm more into the cardio stuff. So the recumbent bikes, the ellipticals, the treadmills, top of the line, tons of televisions. You can just, put on your AirPods and just watch and have a great workout. And you get everything, including the 30-minute circuit for just $10 a month. And like I said, what's cool about Planet Fitness is they got the the Black Card membership as well. Right now, you get a Black Card membership for just $1 down and just $24.99 a month. And what do you get with that? Hydro massage, tanning if you like that, massage chairs, and more importantly, if you travel, access to over 2,400 locations worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. By the way, Planet Fitness is also hiring at all positions. So make your workout place your workplace. Planet Fitness offers a fun and friendly environment with flexible scheduling as well. So join today in any club or online at www.planetfitness.com. They're the best. It's a judgment-free zone. 248-539-9797. We focused a lot yesterday, I think. Zion Williamson, becoming available probably. And you heard Rashad Phillips echo the sentiments of everybody in the NBA that'll probably be traded before the draft. I still think it would be pretty cool to have him here.
To have him here?
Yeah, because I believe in the right situation, that availability question will be negated unless he gets seriously injured.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that was just he didn't want to be in New Orleans. Now, that's obviously a flaw.
Yeah.
But, sometimes guys, and as you know better than anybody, John, in professional sports, sometimes guys need a change of scenery and they turn their whole careers around. So
they do. And if it's just simply a change of scenery and you perform better, that's fine. But if it's an active,
right,
I'm not going to play here, so I'm going to come up with every excuse possible not to be on the court. That is, to me, a huge character flaw. But you also start to look at it in regards to, is it a business decision for him? And if it's a business decision, how do you reconcile that with what's best for your team?
Yeah. I mean, that's why you can't just make a trade without talking to the individual in this case.
Right.
Sometimes you can, other times you can't. Now, Draymond Green decided to opt out of his last year of his contract, which would have paid him around, $27 million?
27.5, I believe.
Yeah, not too shabby.
No.
Because he wants to become a free agent. Now, obviously, the reason you would opt out of a contract that would give you at age 33 $27 million is because you won more than one season. So you're going to go probably try to get a 3 to 4 year deal.
Yep.
Where maybe you get $60 million as opposed to 27 over a 4 year period of time.
Right. Yeah.
Any interest for the Detroit Pistons and Draymond Green in your mind?
I think there's value in it. With what he brings, not just as a player, but his mentality, his leadership. I think there's value there. I just don't know that it's worth the cost that it would take to bring him here.
I agree. At this stage of where the Pistons are, I don't think it would make sense, to be quite honest.
At some point, they're going to have to spend the money, and they're going to have to bring in somebody that would bring that physicality, that would bring that leadership, that would bring all those intangibles. I just don't know that this is the year to do it.
You're right. All right, Carson Anderson are coming up next. It is Tuesday, 2 Grand Slam time, and Gator is here. And I think Gator's going to do pretty well in this one. How are you, Scott?
All right.
Good morning.
I always get nervous.
You should never get nervous.
Test. I get nervous for tests.
All right, here we go. The clock will begin when I start. And by the way, the contestant earlier today got 4, so I'm very confident you're going to do much better than that.
Sounds like it's a tough test.
All right, here we go. Who won the U.S. Open this past Sunday?
Wyndham Clark.
Wimbledon is played on this playing surface.
Grass.
What day of the week is the NBA draft later this week?
Thursday night.
Who played Ace Ventura in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective?
Jim Carrey.
The Indianapolis Colts selected this player 4th overall in the 2023 draft.
Anthony Richardson.
This team lost Super Bowl I.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Who is second all-time in NFL receiving yardage behind Jerry Rice?
Oh, that's a great question. James Lofton.
This team is currently in last place in the American League Central.
Kansas City.
She played Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame.
Brie Larson.
What is the nickname of Ball State University?
Cardinals.
You got 9. Way to go.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice job.
Do I get points for bringing up James Lofton?
Yes. It was a good poll.
Yeah.
It's a good poll.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like James Lofton.
Mm-hmm.
So was that, before we did this, you guys was it the Zion stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if the price, keep this in mind, the contract
has adjustments in it.
Yeah, it's got the adjustments in case he's hurt.
Yes.
You're kind of protected. So money-wise, okay. But if it is what was, because the guy from ESPN had the
right, Bogdanovich, the 5th.
Is Bogdanovich pick number 5 and Isaiah Stewart?
Yes, I would do it in a
Why
second.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
New Orleans would hope to get more, but I would do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they can hope all they want.
I would need
Right.
to know a little bit more about what the provisions were for injury.
Yeah,
and
correct.
is it a percentage of games? Is it a percentage of salary? What does that entail?
Right.
Because there's got to be an upside to it as well.
There is a sports columnist who works at this radio station who wrote a column today saying no to Zion, but yes on Cam Whitmore and Cam Johnson.
I wouldn't mind
Rojo.
that.
No.
I mean, you go ahead and sign Cam Johnson to an offer sheet.
Yeah.
You know,
Be fine. I'd be
Pull a
okay
Carolina
with that. Yes,
Every time I
exactly.
hear offer sheet, I just think Sergei Fedorov.
Yes, Karmanos. What do you guys got going today?
Well, we'll talk about the NBA draft a little bit and Tales of Terror. Which one's worse?
Ooh, it's so scary.
Tales of Terror.
Scary.
Have you guys heard about the submissive?
I called it a submissive by mistake. Called it submersive 8 times, and once I called it a submissive.
No, but I was excited to hear that the late Taylor Hawkins was available in the draft.
What did I
You
say?
said Taylor Hawkins, said Taylor Hendricks, but it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Drumming his way back to the Pistons. I don't know.
Thoughts and prayers.
Carson Anderson are next. Have a better day than I've had. 97-1 the ticket.
Hello, and welcome to the Carson Anderson program here on 97.1. Doug Carson, Scott Anderson with you on a Tuesday. Gator, how are you today?
Doing just fine, thank you.
You had a great question on your show sheet, and I can't wait.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. I can't wait to tell you how I legitimately answered it, and we will get to that a little bit later on. But first, there's one topic that comes up probably, I would guess, every 8 to 14 months. And when it comes up, people react to it. And yesterday, the Detroit Lions organization sent the Lions socials ablaze with a tweet. It was a tweet of the rear bumper of an old Mustang. And it had like a racing stripe. And in the middle of the stripe, it said June 21st. And it had a vanity plate. And the vanity plate said ALT HMT. Alt helmet. Gator.
Mm-hmm.
Lions are teasing that they will release an alternate helmet tomorrow. Dun, dun, dun. What do you think? What do you think we're going to get?
I hope it's something that's like completely different. Just to make it kind of cool.
What, like something like yellow? Is that what you
Absolutely
mean?
not. No.
Okay.
But just something that's different than what we've been used to for our entire lives. You know, vary it up completely. Where maybe it's just the head of the lion, or I don't know, it's a swiping paw or something like that. If it's just, hey, it's the same lion, and what we've done is we've given it a second tooth, and maybe we add a little bit of blood on the back or something. I mean, I don't know. That's not gonna cut it for me.
I want,
and they want desperately to appease Scott Anderson.
Yeah, sure. There's not recruiting, right, when it comes to the NFL, and you don't really sell helmets. I mean, you can buy a football helmet, but typically this isn't marketing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just a look. You're not doing it to impress recruits, and you're not doing it to move merch. So you're just trying to come up with something that creates some buzz and some excitement around your team. Am I missing anything? You're just doing it for hype. Because there's no tangible benefit to having an alternate helmet, is there?
No, it's just it's marketing. It's hey, you feel better if you look better. I don't know. So I like different uniforms. I like different helmets. I think it'd be there's a bunch of stuff they could do. I mean, I love the chrome helmets. I love chrome helmets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they look like old Christmas ornaments.
And that's fine with me. I love it. And if they were to do some sort of chrome helmet with a lion on the side, okay, that'd be better than just altering the lion slightly. I'd like that. Or if they did something, do it all in black, or maybe how about a chrome blue helmet? Something would be kind of cool.
Well, I'm not hoping for chrome, and I'm trying to think about what the Lions do best. Now, I love the throwback uniforms, which is the plain silver helmet.
That's great too.
But I don't think they're going to do that.
Doesn't sound like it.
The best Lions logo is the crawling logo with the two stripes behind it from the 70s. You and I both have baseball caps with that logo on it. And yet, because the two stripes, I don't know that you can incorporate that logo on the side of a helmet unless there's no stripe down the middle. It'd be too much striping going in different direction. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure they can do anything with that. Because I mean, am I wrong? Isn't that kind of a beloved look, that throwback lion, crawling lion with the two stripes?
Well, we love it. I don't know if everybody loves it, but I know we do.
I feel like
it might be universally liked.
I think it is universally liked. Kang, does everybody like that Lions logo?
I think a lot, if not most, do. I think my guess on this, guys, breaking it down CSI style. I look at it. And Gator, what'd you say? What year is that Mustang from when you saw it right away?
I think this is it looks like a Mach 1 Mustang, so probably like a 71.
Yeah, like 1970, 71, right?
Yeah.
And I looked it up and Google imaged it. It matches. Same taillights, spoiler. And then I look at the license plate, and it says historical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I think they're not coming out with something new. I think they're going back to 1970. And I look up the 1970 Detroit Lions helmet. It has the racing stripe down the middle of it, and the Lions bubbles basically logo on the side. I think they're going back to 1970.
That old school.
Yep.
That was that lion, the previous lion on the side of the helmet, which is kind of taking the same posture as the current one, isn't quite as defined.
No, it doesn't have the eye or the tooth or whatever.
Yeah, it's not angry.
Yeah,
it's not.
Exactly.
It's like a circus lion.
Now they may tweak it, but I think it's basically based off of 1970. I think with the Mustang being from 70, the historical, I think that's what they're doing. These all they could have picked any year Mustang. Why'd they pick this year?
No, you're right. I don't know. Mach 1 is definitely a special Mustang in Mustang lovers' hearts. But
it's not considered like the best Mustang design of all time.
No, I mean, me personally, I like the 67 or 68 Mustang, and the GT, the Cobras that Shelby had made for them. I don't know. Whatever. I'm curious because I'm like looking at it. You do the CSI thing, and it says historical on the license plate. Are they just going to go flashback 50 years and throw something from that era? That would be, if it's that lion, it's really underwhelming for me.
You won't be happy.
It's not about happy. It's just underwhelmed. It's, you had a chance to do something sweet, and it would be not so sweet. Take a chance to do something either, do something that's bold and totally different, or just change a color.
Well, I was always an advocate for years and years and years, and then finally it happened, of Michigan State doing a white helmet. I always thought a white helmet, and then what about a white Lions helmet? That might be a good look.
I don't mind it. I don't hate it.
Especially white pants and a white helmet
with that same with the same logo they have today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it at all. Have a Kentucky look to it, sort of, or
yeah, maybe, I guess. But
no, I'm fine with it. I like the white helmets. I do.
Okay. 248-539-9797. If you want to guess, speculate, suggest what you're hoping, Lions are going to unveil a new helmet apparently tomorrow. Plus, we got a Tiger win to talk about. They won again, and they did it in pretty impressive fashion. All that coming up today. Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Doug Harsh, Scott Anderson, 97 won a ticket. Gator spent a good bulk of the commercial break bitching about The Walking Dead. I can't believe you're still watching.
I didn't mean to. Well, that's not true. I recorded it for a reason.
I didn't mean to. You
No,
recorded it.
I didn't mean to. What I meant to say was I was giving it a chance, right? Because they've, I watched the whole series. Like Walking Dead was done. They're done. Now they have these spin-off series. These dumb spin-off series. Fear the Walking Dead was the first one. Fear is good. Fear is fine. Okay, and this is their last season of Fear. So that last Sunday was the mid-season finale. And I think they have like 6 episodes left, and it was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with that. I recorded also the new spinoff that features Negan and Maggie in Manhattan as they're trying to chase down Maggie's son, who was apparently captured by some guy who used to be in Negan's camp, who I've never seen before. So, but apparently he did. And I remember that guy. He was he's crazy, straight up lunatic. It's dumb. It's really dumb. Okay, and it has some dumb things in it. Like, the timeline, I think it's like 15, 18 years past when Negan killed Glenn. Sorry, spoiler alert from season 4 or whatever it was. But yeah, it's a ways past that. And so in 18 years, somehow they figured out how to refine gas again, apparently, because Maggie's driving around in a truck.
Okay. Maybe it's an EV.
It is not an EV. They definitely have
Rivian?
ways to.
Is it a Rivian?
It's not a Rivian. They're having problems selling those apparently.
About to sell one more.
There's a boat that they're riding in a boat that needs gas powered, and they show them with these gas tanks. I'm like, where are you getting the gas from? Who's got the refinery? You got full service over here?
You're talking about all this stuff like you don't believe it could happen, right? Jump the shark, whatever.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest thing is, and I don't watch the show at all, never have, but I know certain things because it was such a pop culture, show. Maggie was with Glenn, right?
Yeah.
This Negan character brutally murdered Glenn, like brutally.
Yes.
And they're just going around together?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that happened.
I don't care.
Between. I know. and
dude.
Right, and that's brought up in this episode too. Like she won't forget. She's like, there's some stuff you can't put to bed there, Negan, and and he recognizes that she still has the hatred, and rightfully so. But Negan has helped time and time again. The last season anyway was all about Negan helping Maggie and her crew out, including saving her son's life.
What season did I give up? Because it was the Negan time.
It was like season 6 or something like that.
The Negan storyline dragged out forever, and I was like, I can't.
You could have killed him here, but you didn't. You could have killed him there, but you didn't.
All these chances to kill him, and they never did, and then they just kept going and going and going. But whatever. And what season did they make it through?
What's this one? Would they go through? I think they went through like 9 or 10 seasons. I'm not even sure. And then there's this crap out there, and apparently there's a grid. They're back on grid now because there's scenes from a seedy looking bar, but it's got the neon neon signs for the beers and stuff like that. It's like, what is this?
But that's how Maggie charged her Rivian.
So it was clearly not a Rivian.
I'm out. So feedback coming in on this Lions tweet, and if you haven't seen it, it's been tweeted out from the show account at DunGator971. But it was originally a Lions tweet, the bumper of a 1970s Ford Mustang. It's got a racing stripe across the back, and it says June 21st in the middle of the racing stripe, and underneath it says ALT space HMT, and that's the vanity plate, and it says historical. So Kang thinks we're going back to the 1970 Detroit Lions helmet. Feedback coming in here on this alternate helmet that the Lions are teasing that they will release. From an unnamed texter, I think the Lions tease is a color scheme. Blue, chrome, and black. All right, do you have the picture up in front of you right now, Gator?
I did.
Okay. Do you think that the chrome, maybe that's what the chrome is of this bumper? Going for that look?
It could.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of my thoughts was because of the chrome. I really do like that chrome look. If they went like all chrome on that helmet, like it's a blue helmet with the chrome, and it's a blue chrome, and then you have the silver chrome lion inside it. That would look pretty cool. with some accents of black, I guess. I don't know. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'd hate that.
What's with you in the? Why are you anti-chrome?
I think the chrome chrome helmets have always looked bizarre, like completely not football. I never liked them.
Awesome. Nick, do you like the chrome helmet? Different chrome helmets?
Yeah.
What's with this guy?
Maybe it was a chrome like evergreen tree or something. You'd like it.
No, I just don't. I just think chrome football helmets look stupid.
But if they're blue, it's not. I mean, you say the Christmas helmet thing. It's blue is not a Christmas color. I mean, the green and the red, I can see that. Like the Michigan State green one that had elements of the Christmas thing. Texas Tech went with their deep red ones. I thought they were sweet because they had like this ghosted outline.
Kentucky had one, yeah. I think they all look stupid.
Oh, great.
All the different colors.
All
right. Nick at Oak Park,
I think Kale's stupid.
That's fine. I'm only intrigued, more for me. I'm only intrigued by this because I'm curious to see how they make the helmet match the already established jersey that they aren't changing. Okay. A named texter, the car gave it away. It's going to be blue with chrome accents. Brian in Birmingham says, based on the stripe on the Mustang, I get a 90s throwback vibe with the long, skinny lion.
Well, I don't know how it's 90s throwback. I think you're going to, if they would do 90s, I think they'd use a 90s Mustang. This is like a 71 Mach 1 Mustang, so I'm thinking it'd be throwback to that point.
Yeah, so you agree with me. Like the Mustang, I think is a clue, right?
Yeah, I think it's a clue.
They chose that specific Mustang.
It's historical on the plate, and if it's a throwback, then I mean they're not going to throw back to the Are they going to throw back to the 91 team that won the division?
Could be. Scott says, "I hope the logo is a bumper."
Maybe they'll put taillights on the pants.
Do you remember that was a?
Maybe they'll set it up so the legs when you and the side of the uniform when you bend over, the body is perfectly formed to look like a car.
Yeah,
just like when the Denver Broncos.
Great tackle on Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, they knew where he was going because he used a turn signal to say he was going right. There.
Right. How'd you know he was going to stop? I saw the brake
lights.
I remember years ago when they were teasing the new logo, the Lions somehow, some way, inadvertently, a toy truck showed up on the Lions website that you could buy, and the new logo was on the side of the truck. So we told everybody, you got to go see it. Here's the new logo the with the angry eye, and it was on the side of the truck. And at the time, our producer was Glenn Lucky LeGroux, who said, maybe the truck itself is going on the side of the helmet. Maybe it's going to be the logo of a truck, which would have been awesome.
It's a Ford F-150.
Next, from Shot in Sterling Heights, I'd like to see the current helmet reverse the colors. Blue helmet, silver lion. Could be interesting. Matt in a truck says, guys, look at the colors of the Mustang. The alternate helmet is going to be blue with white accents. I think a white Lions helmet has some potential, and I wouldn't hate that. But if you want to see the tweet that got all the buzz starting, we have retweeted it at Doug and Gator 971, so you can see if there's any clues in that. But boy, did that get people talking. 248-539-9797. Okay, so Tigers win last night, and Gator didn't start out great. Bobby Witt hit a 442-foot blast, and then Michael Garcia hit a 2-run homer off Reese Olson, who got into more trouble in the fifth. An error on Zach Short didn't help. Tigers got down 4-0. But Kansas City gave a run back on a misplay by Olivares in left field, and the Tigers, going to the seventh, they were down 4-1 and only had 4 hits. And then it was a Miggy single, a Jonathan Scope double, which started a rally.
Two unlikely players to do it, but Miggy's hit really well the last few weeks.
Like 2019 called and served up a single and a double. And then Jake Rogers, a little bloop single, scored 2 to make it 4-3. Then it was a walk. And then Gator, your guy, Kerry Carpenter, came to the plate. And I was sitting at home, and there were 2 outs because Torque struck out where he said what did he say to the ump? You got to be effing kidding me.
Yeah, he was not happy about that.
And I'm like, through crystal clear.
Like, that's not a bad pitch, Torque. It's a good pitch.
It was actually it was.
There was another one that was called it was some bad calls by the home plate umpire against both teams. There were balls that were called strikes and strikes that were called balls. It was crazy.
But your guy, Kerry Carpenter, came through with a 3-run blast, and the Tigers came from 4-0 down to win 6-4. And it was awesome. It was great to see, and they've managed to. Well, I'm gonna follow up on it in a second, but Alex Lang pitched well. Reese Olson pitched pretty well for a couple innings. But suffice to say, Tigers got the win at home, and when I saw they were down early, I was like, damn it, you can't lose Kansas City. Can't lose Kansas City. But we will get to, you asked a question in your show.
Hang on. I just want to relive this a little bit last night, because when I saw it on TV and the dog was on my lap, I may have gotten a little excited when Carpenter went yard, but I always like to hear what it sounded like when Dan Dickerson calls it. Come on! Let's go! Woo! Who's with me? Kerry effing Carpenter, baby! Yes!
You know, the only question there was it going to stay fair? Because he barreled that one up, and you could tell.
380 something down the line, yep.
And
please stay fair.
Yeah, exactly. And it did. We appreciated it very much. Thank you. 248-539-9797. You asked a question in your show sheet.
I did.
That I will answer sincerely coming up today at 10:32, because it could change. The answer today might be different tomorrow.
You're such a flip-flopper, man.
No, I'm not. No, I'm staying steady.
The answer could change.
Well, the answer could change. No, the answer could change.
No, I'm staying steady.
The answer could change. I've been pretty steady, but
probably usually
I could maybe probably move off my positioning. We'll get to that today at 10:35 here on 97.1. All right, so yeah, I sounded like a flip-flopper, but here's what I'm getting at.
It's all right.
No, you asked the question. So this morning I was sitting there with Kang, and we were preparing for the show, and I said, oh, hey, did the Twins win last night? And the answer was no. I was like, oh, sweet. And then you fired the text, or on your show sheet, are you scoreboard watching? And then you wrote, just me right now? That's okay. You can join me in time. I kind of gave up on this season and them being able to challenge when Green and Eduardo Rodriguez went down. I said, I think the fairy tale's over. And they fell 7.5 back, whatever they bottomed out at. Now they've clawed back to 4 games back. And we asked yesterday, look, it's all personal. It's up to you how you feel about your team. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no, it's not a test. It's your relationship with your baseball team. And I was like, they've reached a point where I want to see growth. I want to see development. I want to see them be interesting. But I'm not holding out hope that they are going to win the American League Central. Because the reality is the division, as we all know, is terrible. I don't think you're scoreboard watching when you check the next day. I think that's probably a sign that I'm not scoreboard watching. Where it could change is the thing that makes it intriguing is my desire and want to enjoy Tiger baseball with a little bit more intensity than just waiting for Torques at bats. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And with the Twins series looming this weekend, it would be fantastic to get like within 3 games with the Twins coming to town. It would be fantastic.
That would be amazing. Yep. And, as it stands right now, they are 4 games back. Win tonight. Twins are playing Boston, man. They got 4 against Boston.
I know.
Let's go Red Sox.
But Kang, you didn't know either. Now, that doesn't mean we aren't Tiger fans. It just means we're not thinking of them in terms of being in a pennant chase at this, or not a pennant chase, a division title chase at this time.
Yeah, my status remains single, but that doesn't mean you can't call or text me. And if something cool is going to happen, I'm interested.
I think we're going to look back at the series over the weekend and look back at the 2 opener games that A.J. Hinch was able to cobble together, pitcher after pitcher to get the job done when they didn't have starters. And they won both of those games. And the reason I say that is because they're getting Skubal back real soon. And they could get Eduardo Rodriguez back pretty soon and Matt Manning back real soon. And when you talk about getting starting pitchers back, obviously you don't have to rely on the opener anymore. I think we might be looking at that series and go, wow, that really kind of turned things around. It was at Minnesota in a 4-game series. This team easily could have split that series and it would have been like, oh, great, they split, whatever. But they won it 3-1, so they gained a couple games on the Twins. And then here we go to start the week. They come from behind against Kansas City, against a pitcher who hadn't won yet this year. He's having a horrible start. You're like, please, God, get to this guy already. And then they finally come back and win the game. And then what did Minnesota do? And when I checked it last night, it was 3-3 in the 6th inning or something. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And then I checked it later. Hey, what'd they do last night? Oh, 9-3. Way to go, Red Sox. 4-game lead. And it's just this is an opportunity that's right in front of them. They got, look at this next game tonight, win it, and then see what happens in Boston, or with Boston, I should say in Minnesota, with Boston and Minnesota. They could find themselves real close. You're talking about just being within 3 would make it really intriguing for the weekend series. Do you think people show up? Or are they like, you know what, it doesn't matter at this point?
Well, Boston, so let me go over this here. I mean, because Twins have 3 more games against Boston.
That's correct.
Okay, so they can't, I don't think the Tigers can technically be at 3, but whatever it is, if they were within striking distance, if they're 2.5, 3.5, or whatever, in a 3-game series coming, do I think it will sell tickets? I don't think they'll sell it out, okay, but I do think, a lot of people will be interested. Way more will be interested.
Well, I haven't looked at the weather, but if the weather cooperates and, you're not competing with the Rocket Mortgage Classic this weekend, so that'll be next weekend. Things might align here well for the Tigers to get good crowds at a ballpark against, the division leading team.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty decent. I mean, there's a chance of rain on Friday, just taking a look at the app, but Saturday, mostly sunny, high of 86. Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 89. So
it's getting hot.
It is getting hot, but good weather and a baseball team that might be playing meaningful games. Will it sell tickets? Will it drive TV and radio ratings? I mean, it probably will a little bit. You know what I'm not going to be with this team, though, most likely? I don't think I'm going to get frustrated or mad at them because my expectations going into the year were so low. And, the fault of where we sit right now is due to the previous guy. We got somebody new here in place who talked yesterday and had some interesting things to say about trade deadline and Colt Keith that you'll hear a little bit later on. Not related, by the way, the trade deadline and Colt Keith. Separate topics.
Not
the trade deadline. And also he talked about Colt Keith.
And also he talked about injuries, and also he talked about hiring a general manager.
But I'm not going to get particularly mad at this team because my expectations were low. They've made the change that was necessary, and they've done some promising things. If this series against the Twins could be for something, that looks like first place is on the line, I think you could sell some tickets. I think you could sell some tickets.
If let's say they lose the series to the Twins, I would be disappointed because I'm in. I want to be entertained. I'm in for the roller coaster all season long. They'll have other opportunities, and I know that, but it's like this is a golden opportunity here to. I'm looking at for the effect on the team itself, the confidence that could be built with this team. It would be huge over the weekend if they're able to continue what they're doing against Kansas City. If the Twins drop a game or another game or two to Boston, I mean, they really have an opportunity in front of them, and the whole division's watching. Between Cleveland and Chicago, they're both watching to see what happens as well because we're all in the thick of it. 4 teams are vying for the division. It's a bad division. We understand, and likely to be just opening round fodder in the playoffs. But I don't care. What I care about is my interest level in the season, watching these guys grow and develop into being better baseball players, and we're seeing it. We were hoping we were going to get something useful out of Miggy this year, and Miggy's had a heck of a month where he's hitting 343 the month of June with an OPS of just under 1,000.
Call it what it is. Somebody from the American League Central who doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs is going to be in the playoffs. Might as well be us. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Kurt. You're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Kurt.
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
The way I look at it is that they started off 2-9. Then they played a long stretch where they were pretty good. They were very competitive against good teams and bad teams. And then 3 of our top 4 guys go down offensively with Green, Vierling, and
Carpenter.
Who's the kid? Carpenter, yeah. So I think you take 3 of the top 4 guys off any offense, and they're going to struggle. But our offense especially, just because we don't have that kind of depth. And about, 100% of our projected future pitching staff is not pitching right now in the rotation. So they're keeping it interesting. I'm paying attention. I like to see these young guys get after it. And I don't think they're going to be too far from turning the corner in the next couple of years because they're building depth right now with these guys getting experience, especially when the other guys come off the injury list.
Would you buy tickets and go this weekend if they get it down to 3.5, 2.5?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's baseball and it's summertime, man. I got 3 kids. They want to go every chance we get.
Yep. No, I hear you. Hey, thanks, Kurt. 248-539-9797. Ed is next. Hello, Ed.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
All right, Ed.
Hey, I called you guys the second day of season. I told you this team would have 35 shutouts. They've been shut out 10 times. But I'll tell you what, I like the guts that these guys have. They don't stop. They keep playing at every pitch. They're in the game.
Well, I mean, if you're a Detroit Tiger, you think of yourself as in a division title chase, as you should. It's 100% how you should act. There's no upside to looking at it any other way. And you should be doing everything you can to try and win games. You should be doing everything you can to try and convince the manager and the general manager that you are worthy of a team to add stuff to at the trade deadline, whether it's realistic or not, that's the way you should play the game, right?
Well, yeah, Doug, that's what I was going to say. You know, with Austin Meadows, his situation, and I don't want to knock that at all because I don't know what that guy's going through. But I think if this team added a bat and you start seeing some of your pitchers are going to start coming back in mid to late season, I don't think, I'm not thinking this team can't win this division.
Well, they can. And the thing about looking forward, I mean, the team that's playing right now, that's this gutty team that came back last night, against one of the worst teams in baseball, but they came back and they've been doing this. No, well, it's the same team that beat the Twins 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
This team is going to look dramatically different a month from now. If you think about how this team's played, and now you're going to add maybe the best starter you got with Skubal, maybe another great starter with Rodriguez, and then you're going to add Matt Manning to the mix. I've just added 3 starters to the rotation that are better than what's being paraded out there now. That's a huge lift. Also, adding Riley Green back into the fold, who had a career month of May. Hopefully he can get back, and I don't expect that month of May to creep up every month, but be productive like he has been. And that's huge. Does Austin Meadows come back? I'm not counting on it. I wish the best for the young man, but I wouldn't count on it. Now, do they need to add something when it comes to the trade deadline? I don't think I would sell out to try to add anything at this point, and it doesn't sound like that's what Scott Harris's plan is either. I think it's more like we're kind of enjoying the ride here. Maybe didn't expect them to be competitive, and here they are competitive. Maybe things change in a month when you get towards the trade deadline.
Sometimes you can get something at the trade deadline for very little, but
it's true.
Yeah, 248-539-9797. More of your phone calls and feedback coming up. Mock draft NBA style at 11:05. Pistons sitting there at 5. 97.1 the ticket.